Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible, leveraging podcasts and a million plus audience on the Gnostic TV network. Today, we are chatting with Kae Wagner. Kae is an award-winning and best-selling author. She has written both fiction and nonfiction. She's the founder of North Star Marketing and also the founder of the Bold Authors Network, where she helps authors transform from anxious authors to bold, proud promoters. When not immersed in the world of words, she slips away to ride horses in the mountains of Wyoming. Welcome to the show, Kae. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you, Jill. It's so great to be here.
Okay, are you ready for the question?
I'm ready for the question.
All right. So, what's the most important, significant thing, in your opinion, we can do as individuals to make the greatest impact on how the world is going?
That's a big question. A very, very big question. One I think we should all ask each other and get into a collective answer. For me, I'm going to give you two answers that are like two pieces that fit together. Okay. So when my kids were little, Jewel, do you remember Jewel? She
Mhm.
had a song out and it was, "In the end, only kindness matters." And so I taught that to my kids, and now they're adults, and I say, "And in the end," and they say, "Only kindness matters." And I think what is really important in our world today is to be kind to each other and to remember beyond a shadow of a doubt that you don't know what the other person is going through, and you don't know what the circumstances are that they are in. We all like to paint this beautiful picture, and behind this beautiful picture, I know that every person is broken because we are human beings, and every person calls out for kindness in their own way. The second part of that goes hand in glove is to extend forgiveness and then redemption and offer redemption. And that theme of forgiveness and redemption ties into the Frankie Girl series, which I know we're going to talk about, which is my work of fiction. And it starts out in the first book, which is Saturday Night at the Trailer Park. And this book and this series fulfills a commitment that I made about spreading the word of forgiveness and redemption, a theme in life and in human beings and human nature that is universal because we are human. And despite our best intentions, we always create those things that we need forgiveness and redemption for. And so I would say to the world at this time and all the time, we need to be thinking about forgiveness and redemption, about giving grace to others, which is giving people a second chance. I do not mean in any way that you just automatically give people a second chance, but I think people need to be forgiven and then they earn redemption. The redemption part of it that a lot of people don't know is making things right. So that's action in the right direction.
Love that. It's so beautiful and it's so timely as we're all experiencing things in life that they're coming at us from so many directions so quickly. And some of us are better at, you know, finding our footing and our balance, and
Mhm.
others are just getting knocked over and they're falling down and they're hurting. And it doesn't matter what you believe or what you think. There's people on all sides that they're struggling, and kindness bridges the gap.
That's beautiful. It does. Kindness bridges the gap. Kindness is like extending a hand. I love that.
Yeah, I'm with you, sister. In terms of kindness. So let's talk about publishing and writing books. And when's
Yes,
the best time to get started writing a book?
right
And what
now,
should
today. This morning was a really good time to start.
they say that about trees? When's the best time to
Yes,
plant a tree? It was 7 years ago. The next best
right.
time is today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, the same goes for writing books. And they're
Hmm.
both paper, wood related, because paper
Yeah.
started out as wood. Um, so when you talk about writing a book, is it like just fiction books or nonfiction books, the story of your life? How do you tell people, what when they come to you and they say, well, what should I write about, Kay?
Yeah. So most people, storytelling is as old as time. I think that's actually a quote out of The Lion King, maybe. I'm not sure. But storytelling is as old as time. And so we all have stories within us. We all have our own story, and everybody's story matters, right? So most people come to me with a story in mind, but they don't necessarily know how to frame it up, how to structure it, what to do. Now, to be clear, I'm not a writing coach, but I am a writer. So I do sometimes help them with basic structure or genre or how to get started. How do you get started writing a book? How do you know it's time? I think there's something within the soul that urges you. You get nudged. And I find that many people have had a story for a while. And for me, in my case, I had a story for 5 or 6 years. And I was nudged and pushed along and then, backburnered it like many people do. Then it was time. And when it was time and the soul urging came, I sat down. And I have to tell you, Jill, this story came through me. I had a story, I had a beginning, I had an interaction that was critical to the plot twists within the story, and I had an ending. But I didn't have anything else. Vague ideas, I would call them at best. But when I sat down to write, it came. Like the perfect characters came at the right time. They showed up and they surprised me. I'm like, what are you doing here? I didn't know you were coming in here today. And so I learned to trust that sitting in the chair at the writer's desk would produce the story that I needed to tell.
Kind of like
That's,
channeling.
yeah, that story was going to be one book. And then that story ended up being a series of four. And that was the first work of fiction that I wrote after writing 4 or 5 books of nonfiction. So when this story kept nudging me, I was like, P.S. I'm not a fiction writer, right? But I kept getting this nudging, and I was like, P.S. I don't write dialogue for nonfiction. And I kept getting the nudge to do the story. And so it all worked out. And it has literally, Jill, changed my life.
I can imagine it becomes, I know when you read, I'm an avid reader, and when I read, it's like opening the door and walking into another world.
Yes.
That's what books mean to me. And it's like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But I can remember when I first read that, I must have been in like third grade. And I the analogy wasn't lost on me even back then, where you can open the door and you walk into the story. And
Yes.
that's what those kids did. They opened the door and walked into the story. And it's always stuck with me. And you can also leave, and then
Mhm.
time hasn't changed, but then you go back in the story.
Right. Right.
So
And the story stays with you. And in a really good book, it's like, you don't want the characters to go away. You want to continue, you want to know what's next, what happened.
Yeah. And you want
Yeah.
them to have a good life at the end. At least I do. I remember when I read Love Story when it first came out all those
Yes.
years ago. And I was so mad at the author. I closed the
Mhm.
book and his picture was on the back and I just cussed him out because he killed the character off. And I loved this
I
woman.
know.
It was like my friend had died of cancer. I was like, how
Hmm.
could you do that to me?
Right. Not supposed to end that way.
Yeah. I mean, it can, but
Right.
again, it's just like you become part of the story. Even if you're just watching, it's like, and the stories become part of who you are because
Yes.
you can never unsee the world that you were in for that period of time, and
Right.
it shape your thoughts in a way that a movie never can because it
Yeah.
causes you to have to think about, you have to create it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an immersive experience because your imagination is called upon, right? And you participate in that calling, in that immersive experience. When I was looking around to gather information and knowledge and wisdom about writing fiction, one of the things that stuck out most for me that really made a difference for me was everyone, somebody said, I don't remember who it was, but everyone that reads, each person that reads the book wants to see a character that is them in the book.
That's
And I was
interesting.
like, so it's been really interesting when I speak to readers and I say, so, which character did you identify with? And to see that always people identify in some way with a character or a part of the character.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I can see how that works.
Yeah.
And you can,
In some ways, it's like we are always the heroes of our own story.
I
And
have a
so
title for a book. It's called Be Your Own Damn Hero. As
I
far as
like
I've
it.
gotten.
So when are you gonna start?
I don't know. I have written other books, but
Okay.
this is one that it's coming. It may be this year, maybe next year, but
It's in the oven baking.
yeah, it may be in the bowl and the ingredients are something. I don't think we're to the baking point yet.
Okay. Okay, we're still mixing.
We're still mixing, finding the ingredients, digging through the
Right.
closets.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what do you think is the biggest myth people face about publishing a book?
Well, this is the exact problem that I set out to solve with the Bold Authors Network.
Mhm.
Most authors write a book, they go through the work at the writer's desk, they publish, whether it's
Hey all, I'm Jill Hart. We all know that legal matters can be costly and stressful. Finding the right representation and dealing with high retainers and hourly bills adds up fast. But what if I told you there was a way to have legal insurance, just like your health or auto insurance? Well, Legal Shield has leveled that playing field. From just $29.95 a month, you get access to lawyers for personal legal matters, from traffic tickets to real estate issues or even trust matters. Help is just a tap away on your phone. Call or text 435-764-0875 and use the code JILLLEGAL or start your journey to legal protection today.
self-publishing. Many people, most of the people that I work with are self-published or indie authors, as we call ourselves.
Mhm.
And then they go through the exhilaration of a launch, and then many people fall off of the Amazon cliff and they don't know what to do. And so there's this myth that if you write it, they will come and read it, right? People will somehow mysteriously, magically find your book, and you will be one of the lucky ones that gets to be a million, sell 1 million books. We know that that's not realistic. We know that that doesn't happen. And we know that the numbers for authors are that most books do not get the readership that the author had hoped for. And so that is the very problem that I set out to help authors solve by becoming responsible for their book promotion. It's not going to just happen because you put your book on Amazon, you put your book out there. And so there are many, many ways that authors can really help themselves by becoming bold promoters. But first of all, as you know, Jill, it starts right here. It starts in your mindset and in your deeply held beliefs about who you are in the world. Now, here's an interesting statistic for you in terms of fiction. 75% of all fiction writers are introverts. So what are they going to, out of the whole process, what are they going to hate the most? Promoting. Right? Oh my God, not that. I'm the quiet kid in the corner. I do not want to go out there. So I'm an introvert, but I learned with my books to embrace extroverting behavior. I didn't have to be inauthentic, not be myself. It's just an expanded version of myself. And when I learned to be a bold promoter, it was like somebody handed me a pair of glasses and suddenly I could see things I'd never seen before. I saw opportunities I had never seen before. I saw things I could do that would create book sales. Not just talk about it, but actually create sales. And so, because I have this commitment to spreading this message of forgiveness and redemption, everybody, I will talk to everybody. And I will offer them, I will often give books away. In my books, I have a bookmark and it has a QR code for a review. So I can get more reviews that way. There are so many things authors can do that they're not aware of because they don't think like promoters that they could do. And so with the Bold Leaders Network, we teach people how to do it. And we start with mindset.
Love that. I'm reminded of a book I read a long time ago called The Guerrilla Marketer's
Oh,
Handbook.
yes, yes.
Um, and it was back before the internet, and the internet has changed things so much. There was a
Right.
way of publishing books back in the day before Amazon, and it was hard and it cost a lot of money. People don't really think about, they think, oh, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to make $1 million. Well, that's not the usual outcome. The
Right.
usual outcome is that authors write and write and they pour their heart and soul into it, and then they send it out to publishers, and the publishing company would say, nah, no, try again. Or if they did say, okay, it would cost you money because promoting a book costs money. And that, yes, they would handle all of the promotional part of it, but you had to pay to go places, to be on television shows, and all those things. They didn't just get those things. You at
Right.
some point you have to pay for it. I mean, somebody's
Right.
paying for it.
And it often comes out of the author's book sales
Yeah.
in the traditional model.
Mhm. And if they think that you're going to actually sell a bunch of books, they might put it up front for you. But
Yeah,
if if they're on the fence about it, then it's coming out of your pocket
that's right.
because somebody's going to pay for it. And publishing companies aren't in business to like be altruistic. They're in business to
Right.
make money.
That's not in their vision statement, I don't think.
Right. So when it comes to hiring somebody like you, I mean, it's like it should be a no-brainer for people if they're trying to self-publish to at least connect with you. And you've made it really easy for people to do that with your Bold
Yes.
Leaders Network community. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So I have made it really easy because I have a heart for authors. I know what the valley of despair looks like, right? And I have kind of a commitment that no author will be left behind, right? It can be a lonely endeavor, sitting at the writer's table by yourself. It can be isolating and lonely. And so no authors left behind. So I created the Bold Authors Network. And for people to come into the network, we have a free promo hour every Monday from 4 to 5. And in that free promo hour, I do a little bit of teaching, but we talk about and we share collectively and just get people to understand what I call the 3 V's. The first of which is vision. What is your vision about your book are you on a journey? Are you an authorpreneur? What do you want to have happen? What is your commitment in making this book and writing this book? And vision is also about your mindset. What is your belief about making this book and bringing this book into the world? Did you bring it in for it to sit and get dusty on a bookshelf? No, you did not. And then the second V is voice. And that is your voice, but also way more than that. It's like your presence. It's like where you are. It's like me being here with you on a podcast, and we're, spreading the news about forgiveness and redemption through the Frankie Girl series, and being having your voice be everywhere, right? So podcasts are a beautiful place for that. The guerrilla marketing tactics, literally speaking to people. Like I know authors who are still the quiet kid in the corner, and I'm like, you can't do that. We need to go through this transformation to become a bold author, because a bold promoter will speak to everyone, right? And then the third one is visibility. If you're not visible, you're not viable. You can't be bought if nobody knows about your book. And so that's a basic, marketing, promoting 101. But many people then say, I don't know how to become visible. And that's what we do in the promo hour. I give people leads for podcasts, for summits, for speaking engagements. It's my personal belief, professional belief, that every author should become a good speaker. And that every author, by getting on a platform, will sell more books. And then I also teach authors how to go beyond the book, which is, how do you take your content, your themes, your ideas, and create things that are beyond the format of a book, like moving into a course or a follow-on coaching program, or in the case of fiction. And for any producers out there who are looking for a book to turn into a movie, this would be a really good one. So that's a bold author move right there.
Yeah, that's the way it's done. You just
Yes, it
have to
is.
put it out there, because if you don't tell people, they'll never know.
That's right. That's right.
And you
And
need to not be attached to the answer either. When you look at a
right.
waitress who
Mhm.
goes in, she offers everybody coffee. She
That's right.
doesn't get all butthurt if you say no.
No, no,
You can't be attached to the outcome of the answer. Some
no.
people, it's going to be their cup of tea. Other people,
It's
maybe
going to be a
not so
cup of
much.
coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you have to tell people,
Hmm.
because the people that it's the thing that they've been waiting for, you're never going to find them if you don't tell them that it's available.
That's right. That's very true.
And getting in front of the right kinds of audiences is another important piece of that aspect.
Right.
You know, if you're trying to sell a love story, but you're going on, you know, macho men podcasts, you're not going to be talking to your right. You're not
Right.
going to be talking to the audience that's likely to buy what you're selling. But if
Mhm.
you find other podcasts that are around dating or women's issues,
Mhm.
the softer side of the women's issues, then you're more likely to find, you know, people that would be interested in reading your love story. It's just,
Right.
it's doing it strategically and thinking about, you know,
Mhm.
where you're going to get the most bang for your buck.
Right. Right. And in addition to this, should you find yourself in a position where it's not like your perfect audience, just think about the value you could give them. You know, like everybody has some value to give. And
Oh, for sure.
that's actually the bonus V. We have the three V's and then we have a bonus V, and that V is value because what you give out comes back. That's a law of nature.
Mhm.
And so wherever you are and whoever you're with, you can give encouragement, you can give kindness, you can give of yourself and your authenticity.
Sure, for sure. So how do people join your Bold Authors Network? And that's Eastern time, correct? To
Yes,
make
that's
sure
4 p.m. Eastern. And if they go to www boldauthorsnetwork.com. They'll be able to sign up for promo hour. And we welcome fiction and nonfiction authors because both kinds of authors need to be bold promoters.
absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks
Yes.
so much for joining us today, Kay. And thank
Thank
you to those of you tuning in. To learn more about writing and publishing a book and to connect with Kay, be sure to visit theboldauthors.network.com. We'll be putting the links in the show notes also. If you have a podcast or you're interested in starting one to get your message in front of our large and active audience, be sure to reach out to us at support@heartlifecoach.com. We love to help spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice and monetize their mission and offer a variety of ways to do that on the Gnostic TV platform. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.